and this is my case study. I will talk about three major themes that come with these three books. The three books that we read in this class were Jewels on Schools, written by Julia M. Williams, Finnish Lessons 2.0 by Posse Solberg, and 50 Myths and Lies That Threaten American Public Schools by David C. Berliner and Jean V. Glass. I really enjoyed reading these three books. At first, I thought they were going to just be boring, useless books, but I actually found a lot of interest and fun and learned a lot of actually quality information from reading these three books. I'm glad I took this class. The teaching and learning organization that I have picked to discuss is the STEM program. The first reason I chose this is because I am majoring in a STEM major, chemical engineering. The second reason, it seemed like the most interesting to me, and it very was. For people who don't know what STEM means, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. My first theme that speaks to the whole of my being is that against popular belief that says otherwise, American public schools are not completely bad. My first quote by Berliner and Glass on page 172 mentioned, "Beyond the NAEP test, we also know that the percentage of college graduates in the United States nearly doubled over the past 4 decades." This quote shows that American public schools have to be doing something right if the amount of college graduates have almost doubled, because that doesn't just happen if the students aren't learning or are just dropping out of school. This goes because there's many people in our society that are saying we are so lacking in schooling and education because there are other countries out there who are exceeding and starting to beat the United States in schooling. But we are still advancing, just not as fast. My second quote by Slauberg on page, I do not know how to read Roman numerals, XIX, emphasized, "One of the ways that teachers improve is by learning from other teachers. Schools improve when they learn from other schools. Isolation is the enemy of all improvement." This quote shows how not only teachers are learning to improve, but so are schools in America as a whole, because they are working together. In schools, if one school starts exceeding, other schools look at that school and sees what they do and tries to copy what they do, not because they want to be are better than them, they want to be as great. Because one school being better than one school and trying to be the best school out there is not really helping. We're trying to make all our schools be the same and be as great as they can be so that the students can learn how to be the best. Because you want to show our younger generations and want them to learn as much as they can because they're going to be our future. This world is advancing so quickly. In the last 20 years, the greatest, has been the biggest difference. Technology developments are becoming really fast. My third quote by Williams on page 42 said, "We can't cut dreams, and we can't assume that glimpses just happen. Sometimes they only come through the windows of a yellow bus in the springtime." This quote is showing that dreams and glimpses are happening in public schools all across America, and would be possible for kids to dream if these schools didn't exist. People think that it's not possible, or that all this wouldn't be possible if we didn't have all the schools that we have. For all the people complaining for how much money taxes we go into updating new schools and adding more schools, but we need there's been more children, there's populations growing. We need to educate everyone and have them be able to make it to go to school. But the STEM program apparent successes in a relationship to this theme are that the STEM program was invented in America, and American succeeds the most at this program. We might be behind to Finland and to some other countries now, but our STEM program is growing. A lot of jobs out there are donating and promoting STEM programs. Like the company I work for, Emerson, they have scholarship for STEM majors, and they started a new campaign saying I love STEM. They have other workers that are not STEM workers, but they're promoting to have more STEM workers, and is growing. These successes affect learners by giving them the best opportunity to learn in the STEM program, and more availability of programs to choose from. The STEM program apparent struggle in relationship to this theme are that students are starting to struggle in the non-STEM related fields, because some classes that are not in the STEM related fields are like English, history. For me, I love STEM related fields, but I do not like English. Some recommend options for developing this capacity are to create more programs for non-STEM related programs to have equal emphasis on those subjects as well. Also, that we could do is having not just STEM related program, but to promote all subjects. Have programs that promote all subjects equally, but have more emphasis on STEM. But actually during the STEM program, work on your English history, because to be successful in STEM, you need to be successful in all subjects. My second theme that I'm certain matters in education is that it takes great people, parents, and teachers alike to shape children for their futures. My first quote, according to Williams on page 37, teaching our children to see and respond to needs means we must teach to see their own connections to all humanity and their responsibilities to others. This quote shows that it doesn't only matter that the information and the knowledge we teach the children in their subjects, but it also matters how we teach them as a person in the world. A teacher could go up to the classroom and just read off a slide and read all the information bullet point to bullet point. And he's teaching the kids, but that doesn't mean that teacher's actually really teaching the kids. Because some kids don't learn just from speaking or just from listening. Some need to be shown examples, some need to have first-hand experience. Like there's so many different ways to teach. The teachers make a huge impact on the way they teach. If they just read off the slides, the students aren't going to learn as much. My second quote by Slauberg on page 103 mentioned, "It is difficult to get into teaching education without a solid knowledge, skills, and moral commitment." This quote is showing that to be a good teacher, they don't only need to know the subject information, but you have to have a good personal commitment to the students and want to help them. For me, in high school and in college, the best teachers are the ones that are easy to get to know, or the ones that you aren't afraid to go talk to, the ones that are open with you. For the teachers that I had that weren't, and I was more scared to, or weren't open-minded, those classes or more people struggled with because they were too afraid to ask questions to the teacher. Teachers had to have a good personal connection and being easygoing with the students for them to succeed. My last quote is, according to Berliner and Glass on page 74, subject matter knowledge is an important characteristic of successful teachers, but content knowledge alone is not enough to make a good teacher. This quote also shows that content information is not only the thing that makes a good teacher because need to be need to be connected with the children and help them want to learn. Like the other two quotes I talked about. A teacher could be the smartest person in that subject, know all the information about it, but it's no good if they don't know how to teach it. They might know all the knowledge, but teaching it is just like the quote says. It's more about knowing how to teach the subject matter, not that you know all that. You need a teacher who knows their information, but also can teach it and give it to the students for them to gain that knowledge and be able to teach it to others. The STEM program's apparent success in relationship to this theme is that it has a special training for teachers and youth volunteers to connect with the students and teach them in the best way they can understand. These successes affect learners by helping them learn in a positive and helpful environment, by providing the best education possible for them. The STEM program apparent struggles in a relationship to this theme is that it is harder material, so it takes longer to teach and master. Some recommend options for developing this capacity are taking more time to teach this material and being patient with the kids if it takes them longer because they are struggling. My third and final theme that could change the world is the fact that many other nations' school systems, particularly Finland, are showing an example of how other schools, mainly the US, should be modeled after. My first quote by Slauberg on page 9 states, Finland is also one of the few nations among the 34 OECD countries that have been able to improve educational performances as measured by international indicators and students' achievement tests. This quote is showing that Finland is making great strides in their education system, and their tests making them an example for many other countries. Finland literally started at one of the bottom and were one of the worst school systems. Now look at them. They're one of the best. According to Williams, page 91, what do standards have to do with anything anyways? Why do we need to know what students are expected to learn? This shows that the United States have a very high expectation for their students, making standardized testing really hard, giving unreliable results for American tests. Williams throughout her book, talked about how standardized testing is not actually really reliable results, and how that we should actually get rid of standardized testing, and it's not really helping us and helping us find where the students' levels are. My third quote is, as a Berliner and Glass on page 11 highlighted, but those same tests reveal what we all know, that students in school that serve the poor are not achieving as well at all. That brings the US average down. This quote shows that these standardized tests that are too hard and unrealistic for students are bringing the US national average down, making the US look like they are slacking in the educational system, when we're actually not. The STEM program apparent success in relationship to this theme are that it is internationally across many different countries. These successes affect learners by giving all students in many different countries the opportunity to excel in the STEM programs. The STEM program's apparent struggles in relationship to this theme is that although Finland and other countries seem to have better schooling education and the United States come in first place for STEM advancements, some recommend options for developing this capacity are to have Finland and other countries learn from the United States by doing what they do for their STEM programs and to copy them. These three themes are important to the STEM program as well as these three books. Thank you.